A massive hood, a huge engine, a spacious cab, and a roomy sleeper. The classic American truck. In the late 1970s, Swedish manufacturer Volvo began producing trucks overseas, specifically for the North American market. A truck rolls off the assembly line every 10 minutes. A scale of manufacturing that calls for vast quantities of material. Anything that holds up the assembly line threatens to delay production and must be avoided at all cost. Customers have a choice of more than 500 different colors for the cab and the chassis. The truck is roadworthy just one day after it rolls off the production line, once it's passed all the tests on the in-house test track. Trucks are the most popular means of transporting goods in the U.S. 70% of cargo in North America is transported by road, a figure that continues to rise. More than 500,000 big rigs with that distinctive huge hood have left the Volvo factory since the late 1970s. Dublin, Virginia, home to the largest Volvo truck manufacturing facility in the world and one of the largest in the U.S. 3,500 employees build trucks here for the North American market. The flagship vehicle is the VNL. The long-haul truck comes in several models. The smallest model has a relatively modest cab. The biggest is the sleeper, the VNL 860, which has space for 2 bunks. It has a width of over 6.5 feet. The high roof model has an inside height of 8.5 feet. There's a choice of 11-liter, 13-liter, and 15-liter engines. Their power output ranges from 375 to 565 horsepower, depending on the application. The maximum speed is nearly 90 miles per hour. The skeleton of every model are these steel girders. Building the chassis takes a few hours. The workers start by securing the girders with over 400 bolts. More than 60 different bolts are used in the manufacturing process, and each has a specific function. The biggest is 13 centimeters long. The basic structures are assembled at a rate of 1 every 2 minutes. These are transported to the next workstation on a dolly. The next station is where the truck's air suspension is installed. 3 compressors power what's called the air ride chassis. The components that will be assembled over the next few hours have to be delivered at exactly the right time to exactly the right place. There's limited space in the factory, so many of the parts are only made available at the precise point that they're needed. Several hundred axles are delivered to the production line every day. Ensuring that assemblage runs smoothly is a massive logistical undertaking. Keeping the conveyor belt moving and preventing production from stalling means each component has to be in exactly the right place at exactly the right time. Up until this point, the chassis has been assembled upside down for the sake of convenience. Now weighing approximately 2.5 tons, the truck is turned around. The next step is the installation of what's called the 5th wheel. That makes it sound superfluous, but in fact, it's a vitally important component. Once in use, these trucks will be transporting tons of cargo every day. The 5th wheel is attached to the chassis with 32 extra strong screws. The entire chassis is then painted with a clear lacquer, making it durable and resistant. 10 minutes later, the frame is dry. Meanwhile, the cab is being built in another part of the factory. First, the side parts are pre-assembled. Then they're transported to a robot that welds everything together. A bit like a house of cards, the side parts are now placed on the floor pan, one on the right side and one on the left. A worker fixes the sheets with a spot welder. Welding robots then take over to ensure they're 100% secure, welding over 100 spots in the space of 4 minutes. Once the roof is in place, the cabin is complete. This process is fully automated. Next, the cab is coated to prevent rust. Before the painting process can begin, the workers manually seal all corners and edges of the cab with silicone to prevent moisture from seeping in. Then robots apply primer. All the cabs get the same gray primer, regardless what color will be applied later. The cabs are then lined up at the factory paint kitchen. Customers can pick out a color from a palette of over 500 options. There are over 100 different shades of white alone. The paint doesn't come in a can, but directly from the paint kitchen, in hoses several hundred meters long. Every 4 minutes, around 7 liters of paint are pumped to the robots. Not a drop is wasted. The kitchen is where the paint is mixed. Because the whole room is full of highly flammable paints and thinners, it is specially protected against fire and explosion. Safety is the top priority, so electrical appliances are banned in the paint kitchen, including cell phones. Only explosion-proof phones are permitted. Once the paint has been delivered to the robots, it's atomized into a spray by a rotating nozzle. The paint particles are also given a positive electrostatic charge, and the cab a negative electrostatic charge. It takes 6 to 7 minutes to paint the cab, depending on the assemblage. Once dry, the color tone is inspected with a spectral measuring device. If the device finds an error, all responsible persons are automatically informed. Greensboro, North Carolina, home to the company's technical center and top-secret development department. Visitors aren't allowed here, and cameras are strictly forbidden. Jason Spence is Product Strategy Director for North America at Volvo Trucks. Driver safety was one of his primary considerations in the planning of the newest model. After running numerous crash tests, he and his colleagues came up with a design that ensures maximum protection for the truckers in the event of an accident. But it takes more than safe cabins and excellent crash test results to sell a truck. Customers want more. They want comfort. The integrated king-size bed with adjustable headrest is a major selling point. Nowadays, Volvo is one of the largest truck manufacturers in the US. The VNL 860 is a top seller. It has a high roof and an interior height of 8.5 feet. The sleeper is over 6.5 feet wide and 6.5 feet long. Standard equipment includes a microwave, refrigerator, and TV. The truck is designed to accommodate 2 drivers. Because truck routes in the US are so long, a vehicle is often shared, and both truckers need their own space. The front of the truck is very different from a passenger car.
if I stand up, you'll notice the chair will adjust. It's going to drop back down. It's the auto adjust. Now when I sit back down, give it a minute, it starts to adjust, and it, based on my weight, kind of gives me the height it thinks I'm going to want.
Instead of gear sticks, more than 90% of vehicles are equipped with a 12-speed automatic transmission, complete with performance and economy buttons. But American truckers' most popular accessory is probably the giant drink holder. Up to 3 1.5-liter cups can be stowed here, enough coffee to make sure no trucker nods off.
So we try to make everything as easy as possible for the driver, including a comfortable ride. You can put the steering wheel exactly in the position you want. 2 types of motion, in and out and up and down. And if I push this halfway down, I will get the neck tilt.